Well, hell, son, it's another episode of the Sharpshoot with Aussie. We're talking Roman Reigns. We're talking Charlotte. We're talking Undertaker, possible return. We also got your NXT Revolution, our Evolution, whatever the hell you want to call it, predictions. And then we finally reveal the awards and the nominees for every single Golden Rope Award that's going to be handed out December 21st, 7 p.m. RopeBreakWrestling.com. Right now, let me introduce my panel this week, ladies and gentlemen. Alec Kozubski.
What is going on, Rope Breakers? Happy to be here once again on the Sharpshoot. Very looking forward to this show. A lot of exciting stuff, especially those golden ropes.
And Mitchell, if you want to unmute yourself and join the show, we got Mitchell Jones, RopeBreakWrestling.com writer.
How's it going? First Sharpshoot. Very excited to be here. Thanks for the invitation. Couldn't be happier with being on, man.
Hey, man, we're happy to have you. And like I said, we're talking a multitude of topics on today's show. We're going to be talking about, first, we're going to cover a topic that was a big deal this past Monday and Tuesday morning. As we all know, you wake up Tuesday morning, everybody's hungover, so to speak, from the terrible Raw that was. And this week it was the Slammies, and of course, controversy over whether or not the Slammy Awards are completely legitimate. It seems like we have this argument every single year. Every single year I say there's absolutely no way the Slammies are legitimate. I don't care if I like who wins the awards or if I don't like who wins the awards. It's a scripted TV show. Obviously the awards are going to be scripted. And Alec, I'm going to open the floor to you first because you're kind of the resident Roman Reigns guy here. Not that you're nearly as big on him now as you once were, I don't think. But first off, let me just ask you blatantly, do you think that the Superstar of the Year voting was legitimate?
I'm torn on it because multiple people have said it's not rigged. It was a legitimate vote. The fans actually voted for Roman Reigns to win. But on the other hand, it's hard for me to believe because in the past we've seen people win these awards that were like, wait, how does that make sense? Like when Triple H and Brock won Match of the Year, when clearly they shouldn't have. So, and why would you fly Roman Reigns out to a Raw? If he's not going to win. I mean, it doesn't really make any sense to me. So, if it was legitimate, then, great, he won it. I'm not saying he deserves it. He still has a lot of work to do, but, congratulations to him either way.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. I mean, the number one argument at hand is the fact that, hey, Roman Reigns hasn't been appearing on Raw every single week. I don't think there's any coincidence that he just happened to be at the show. Maybe he's been backstage at a plethora of the Raws, but for him to win the award and then they have his theme ready, he comes out dressed for the occasion, it's obvious that it's scripted. And then we've got multiple reports online, multiple screenshots, I should say, Matthew of Botchamania, showing a screenshot of the in-app voting where it looked like they had the John Cena, Dean Ambrose column. Let me try and pull up a picture here. There was two columns that were basically morphed together to basically accrue votes. And Mitchell, I'm interested here again. If you want to unmute yourself, what do you think that is a legitimate picture, or do you think that it's something maybe a fan did, or what could be the case?
Honestly, I would not be surprised because that just seems like the WWE style these days to basically shove down people's throats who they want to see as the best guy in the house or for the business or whatever, because it's no coincidence that it's John Cena and Roman Reigns, because I saw that exact picture. And like I said, it's no coincidence it happens to be John Cena and Roman Reigns. So your guess is as good as mine, but I wouldn't be surprised in the least if that is genuinely what happened, just so they could legitimize Roman Reigns winning. Because honestly, I don't think he should have won. I wrote an article on it, and so
which is on RopeBreaksWrestling.com
it is.
today, of course.
So yeah, there's Brock Lesnar should have won in my opinion, hands down. He had the best year. Roman Reigns has been out for what, almost 3 months now.
Since September, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't see how he did it, and unless they rig the shit.
Which that's what it seems like it was. We can't get like a really good picture of it here, but it looks like the Dean Ambrose and John Cena column was all one column, so there was no line in between the two. So essentially, if you voted for Dean Ambrose, you voted for John Cena, and then likewise with Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, if you voted for Daniel Bryan, the vote went to Roman Reigns. Who knows? We also had Michael P.S. Hayes, who, if you've watched the show in the past, you might know he is my favorite WWE official. I absolutely love the guy. Actually, no, I don't. I hate the guy. If you're watching this, I'm coming for you. Beep. To quote Booker T. No, seriously. He tweeted out some kind of garbage like, you guys are passionate, but it was your votes that gave Roman Superstar of the Year. If it was rigged, we wouldn't have gave Chris Jericho the Extreme Moment of the Year. Yeah, well, I'm not necessarily saying that every single award is rigged. Yeah, sure, some awards you might have been legitimate, but when there's a specific award that they need to get somebody over, whether it be Superstar of the Year, there were other ones there. Obviously, they knew Sting was going to win the one award there, and they had Seth Rollins ready to go. He was ready to go to cut that promo. So maybe they specifically made sure Sting was going to win that award just so that they could have Rollins cut that promo. Because I'm sorry, but it's the WWE. Not that many guys are that great at the improv stuff. And Roman Reigns especially, I don't think if he won the award, he would have had an acceptance speech ready to go if he didn't know about it in advance. But moving on to the next topic, and I should say before we move on to the next topic, Superstar of the Year, we've got a legitimate vote coming up here. How's my mic, guys? Is my mic good?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay. If it's too loud, let me know. But either way, coming up, obviously, the big thing we're pushing right now, the Golden Rope Awards. That is where you can legitimately vote for the Superstar of the Year. No BS. You can literally, at the end of this show, we are going to post a link. I am going to show you guys how to vote for each and every single award. And we're going to, make sure that somebody legitimately wins that award. So you guys will be able to have your opinion and your voice heard on there. But moving to the next topic, we're talking 6-month shovel, and you might be going, huh? What's that mean? We're talking about Charlotte and her loss on Monday Night Raw. Now, me personally, I don't think this does too much damage to Charlotte. The big question mark that jumped into my head was today during when news came out of a conference call with Triple H. He apparently said that, quote unquote, when we bring her back up in 6 months, nobody's going to remember that. We on RopeBreakWrestling.com had reported a couple weeks ago, maybe like a week ago, that Charlotte was getting ready to be brought up to the main roster. Now you hear Triple H say, 6 months. We're kind of all scratching our head here. Is this going to be a trend, you think, where we're just going to see guys and girls being promoted to the main roster around huge events? Like, we're expecting the Ascension for TLC, but do you think that going forward it's going to be like WrestleMania season and SummerSlam season are the only 2 times we see big call-ups? Mitchell, go ahead with that.
I certainly hope not, because it's big events. Like, okay, I can understand it. You're wanting to draw. I can get that. But for guys that are like Sami Zayn or Adrian Neville or even Charlotte, they've all been busting ass down in NXT, and when if they get called up around Fastlane, as
No, don't say it. Don't say it.
as they've so aptly named the newest pay-per-view, which is set to be right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Just saying.
Cheap pop, nice.
But I'd be fine with that. I don't necessarily have to see them brought up around big events, but if that's the direction they go, then that's the direction then they go, and we can't really do anything about it. So, but again, like I said, I certainly hope not, because I'd like to see Sami Zayn on my TV yesterday.
Yeah.
That's an understatement, and I think we've got a new viewer, Bolty's Wrestling Reviews, commenting on YouTube. And if you're new to the show, guys, you can comment on YouTube here. We will make sure your voice gets heard on the show. He's saying that I think he said within 6 months. It could be next month as far as we know. I'm not really sure that that was the quote. I think the quote was meant to say, hey, in 6 months or 6 months from now, nobody's going to remember that. They're going to have forgotten that. I don't think anybody expects, a loss to have been forgotten, within a month. I'm not sure. It's possible that he's saying that just to make us think, oh, she's not coming up for 6 months, and then she comes out on Raw next week. Who knows? As far as the actual loss goes, I don't think it does too much to hurt Charlotte. What I think hurts her more than the loss is the amount of time they gave the match. This match, and you'll see later on in the show for good reason, this match, or this feud between Charlotte and Natalya, has the potential to be some of the best diva work that we've seen in recent years, and they go on and they give them a short piss match. It's just not a good way to cut it, and for her to lose, I understand the argument. It doesn't do much to put the NXT pay-per-view over. Like, okay, so she just lost to Natalya, who hasn't been on TV in weeks. Why would I go watch the NXT pay-per-view if I wasn't going to already? When I can just expect a bunch of people that are going to lose to main roster talent anyways when they come up. I understand that. I don't think it hurts her too much, especially if you saw the match between the two at the original TakeOver, which I think a lot of WWE fans these days, around our age, and I say our age loosely, anybody that can, has their own bank account and that can pay for the WWE network, per se, I think there's a different demographic. I think those fans are watching NXT and the main roster stuff at the same time, rather than just some of the younger kids who might not know who Charlotte is because they're not watching NXT every week. The thing that strikes me here is that Vince and Triple H had, bobbled back and forth whether or not this was going to be a tag match or a singles match. And originally, in the tag match, Charlotte was going to get the pin and go over. And then when it got switched to a singles match, Natalya reportedly asked to lose the match because she felt that that was the right thing to do. And that's just blood right there, knowing what to do. But, Alec, would you have preferred this to be a tag match? Do you think that would have been a better way of protecting Charlotte? Or do you like that it was singles? You would have just rather have seen her go over?
Divas tag matches never work. There's never good chemistry in those matches. The Divas can never find the right rhythm to get in and really go at it. There's always, one Diva slipping and falling, or, messing up on a move. Just there's not enough chemistry in a Divas tag match to make it work at all. But, it works as a singles match because it's obvious, these two have a lot of great chemistry. I enjoyed their original match for the NXT Women's Championship back in TakeOver. And I think, if, it was a singles match, it got cut short by the Slammies, but I think they could have at least given them a little bit longer to have it develop and really make it work, really make it something worth noting, and keeping in the back of your mind when Charlotte comes back up and said, oh yeah, she fought Natalya and won. It doesn't matter, if Triple H says, well, when she gets back, when she comes back in 6 months, nobody's going to remember. Well, sure, nobody's going to remember, But in the history books, her first match on Raw is going to be a loss. Does it hurt her? Probably not, but still, that mark is always going to be there.
That's a good point, too. Just saying that her last match on Raw will always have been, or her first match, rather, will always have been a loss. You look at over the history, of time of really successful talents, how many have lost their first match? I mean, John Cena lost his first match, right? No, or did he win? I know it was the Kurt Angle match. I don't know why I'm like brain farting on whether or not he won or lost. I know he put up at least a good fight, but did he win?
No.
I believe Cena lost.
Yeah, he lost.
So Cena lost. So, I mean, it's not a guaranteed burial, so I don't think we need to have, people getting all sorts of upset and shit, which is happening. If you don't believe it, check out Rope Break Wrestling's Facebook page. People are, extremely upset. Christmas is canceled.
I think the thing that bothers me the most is her whole gimmick is she's Ric Flair's daughter. She's genetically superior. That's what she's branded herself as. And she goes onto the big stage and she loses. It goes against the entire gimmick. Like, she's the daughter of a 16-time world champion. She's genetically superior to every other athlete. Why did she lose? It doesn't work with the gimmick that they're trying to pull off.
Yeah, that's a good point. Go ahead, Mitchell.
And it's not like Natalia's some badass, because there was wasn't there a good stint where wait. Wasn't she the farter?
I'm not sure I know what you're talking about. Wink, wink.
So yeah, okay. If that was her, because I think it was, then yeah. So Charlotte lost to that.
I mean, I don't think that Natalya is necessarily anything, not to bat your eyes at. She's probably, one of the top 3 in-ring talents in the Divas main, the main roster. So losing to her isn't the end of the world, in my opinion. But yeah, at the same time, it's not like she lost to the, the Divas champion or anything like that. The question is she's slated to come up anytime soon, does she lose tonight? And does that really hurt her? Because I think that would be, extremely detrimental for her to lose on Raw, and then, flash forward to Thursday, she loses the NXT Women's Champion. That would be a big deal. I don't think she's going to lose. We'll get into that in the Revolution predictions, or the R-Evolution predictions, whatever the hell you want to call it. But Alec, I know you've been itching to talk about this next topic here. There ain't no grave can hold my money down. We're talking about The Undertaker. Rumors of his possible WrestleMania 31 return have been, swarming around the interwebs, especially today. Hot and heavy, talking about a potential return. And Alec, do you like the idea of him returning to face one Bray Wyatt?
Absolutely. I'm 100% behind the idea. When Bray Wyatt first, came into the WWE, debuted on the main roster, the whole thing was like, the fantasy booking in everybody's mind was like Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker, because they're both these spooky, supernatural type characters, and they're really different in the things they do. Undertaker's, basically the guy who can come back from the dead, but at the same time you have Bray Wyatt, who's this cult leader who can captivate people and really draw people in. And I think those two entities going at it would be one hell of a match. Just because, Undertaker faced Brock Lesnar. Let's face it, Brock Lesnar is the roughest person in the ring to deal with. That situation didn't benefit him at all. But for him and Wyatt to go at it would be a spectacle to watch, because they'd be able to slowly build up towards the big spots and really tell a story in that match inside the ring. So if the rumors are true, if Taker does decide to give WWE a call and say, hey, let's do this, I will be overjoyed to see it happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. The only thing I'm weary about is I feel like a lot of people are really interested in the Bray Wyatt Undertaker match, and I'm not necessarily as interested. maybe because everybody else is interested. I mean, this is something that we talk about on a weekly basis as far as me being, not necessarily on the same page as everybody else, but I think Undertaker coming back, obviously best for business, as long as he can still go. I hope he
Right.
wouldn't come and, him and Bray Wyatt can't even hold a good match together. That would be bad. I just haven't seen enough out of Bray Wyatt in the ring, and I know I'm probably going to get heat for this. I still haven't seen that Bray Wyatt match that's like, whoa.
No, you're completely right. They haven't booked him properly. They haven't really shown us what Bray can do. They haven't booked him strong enough to really make him a viable opponent for the Undertaker. So maybe on the road to WrestleMania, we start to see that.
And who would you ideally think that, who would you ideally pin Bray Wyatt up against that would get him ready for an opponent like The Undertaker? He's already been with John Cena, he's been with Chris Jericho, and it seems like both of those feuds he fell flat immediately after. Not to his fault, again, because of booking, but it's like he comes out, he talks a whole bunch, everybody's interested, and then when he gets in the ring, it's kind of the same stuff, and I don't know, maybe it's just there's not chemistry between him and other guys in the ring. I don't know, maybe it's just me that feels that way. It very well could be that, but I feel like I know Bray and Undertaker are both very athletic for their size.
Right.
I'm not sure that those two together makes for an excellent match with Undertaker at this point in his career. I think a lot of people immediately want to see the match because it's like dark character versus dark character.
Oh yeah.
Like what's the angle going to be? What's the storyline going to be?
I mean that's a really good question. I mean, it's hard to tell what the storyline is because I think it more falls on WWE's booking of Bray. Like, what is Bray's motivation to go after The Undertaker? I mean, is he going to go after him and claim, well, he's a false icon that people look up to? His legacy was already broken, so, is Bray going to try and, defeat it more? I don't know. And I think, you have to look at WWE for that and say, okay, what is his motivation going to be to really call out The Undertaker and say, hey, let's do this? I think that falls on WWE's booking over the next few months.
I mean, Mitchell, what do you think as far as a viable opponent for Bray Wyatt going forward, maybe sandwiching between now and The Undertaker, if he were to face The Undertaker? I mean, do you see Bray going in as the heel or Taker going in as the heel, or, what would the deal be?
That's that's a really good question. Gosh, I haven't a clue because I'm almost scared to say anything because if they do anything well, then like just the booking that he's had so far is just shoddy, and so I don't know. I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
He wants no part of the Undertaker question. He's afraid the lights there might shut down, and all of a sudden the Phenom might be in his living room.
I don't. Yeah, man.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Glass rides. No thanks. I'm good.
I have to believe that if indeed this matchup does happen, I think Alec feels the same. I think that it would have to be Undertaker going in as the face.
Yeah.
Just because it's Undertaker, he's going to get cheered for regardless. The question is, how does Bray Wyatt really go over strong there? And if those two are going at it, is Undertaker really going to end his career on 2 consecutive losses at WrestleMania? This is something that needs to be thought about because Bray Wyatt cannot afford a loss at WrestleMania. I'm sorry. He can't. Terrible debut match. He had a terrible debut match against Kane at SummerSlam last year. Not this past year, the year before. His match with John Cena, he lost at WrestleMania.
Which was bullshit.
Of course.
Amen.
But, there's really not much out there that tells me that Bray Wyatt is, fucking amazing. He doesn't get enough TV time on Raw. Vince talked a shit ton about him in that Steve Austin podcast, but it's like the creative team's doing nothing with him. I mean, let's talk about...
Food Network.
All of his matches on Raw are basically squash. When he does actually have a match on Raw, they're throwaway matches. It's against Kofi Kingston, which nothing against Kingston. It's Bray Wyatt, and it's Kofi Kingston. What are you going to get out of that? Nothing. And it's like 3 minutes tops. So they don't put him in any worthy matches on Raw to like really develop him that much.
Well, it's not even matches that they need to do. I mean, you take a look at the Undertaker's character over the course of, the 50, 60, maybe 70 years he's been in the WWE. Immediately, let's talk about the Undertaker in the 90s. Look at his character. We've got, the corporate ministry. All sorts of different shit he's doing with his character. The American Badass. He's getting, even Big Evil. Behind the scenes shit, they don't do it anymore. And for a couple weeks, they were doing a good job. I don't know if you remember this, Alec, but I was, excited that they're finally doing some backstage character development. They're doing some angles backstage. And think about this. Undertaker kidnapping Stephanie. You know what I mean? Back in the day. These are the types of shit that get characters over as, wow, that guy's scary as shit. Or, that guy's not to be fucked with. Not just in the ring squash matches. You know what I mean? There needs to be something behind the character for us to find rather than just, a bunch of babbling.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there. We need, we stress it every week, whether it's, on React After Raw, here on the Sharpshooter, just talking amongst ourselves throughout the week, that they really need to work on character development for these wrestlers. It doesn't work if, they're going to go out into the ring and have a squash match for 5 minutes, or if they're going to cut a 10-minute promo. That doesn't help us get to know the character and develop the character to a point where we decide if we want to follow this person or not and make a judgment on this character or not. And those backstage segments really help. And I don't get it. You have 3 hours to do a show. We don't need to see the fucking bunny wrestle. We don't need to see an 8-man tag match every single fucking week. We don't need to see it. Just, you have 3 hours. Take away commercials. You got 2.5 hours to work with. You can throw some backstage segments in there to really elevate these characters and make them, something to watch, something worth, the value and that they put into it.
Well, yeah, immediately that's really, what I'm preaching here, or I've been preaching for the longest time, is that let us know something about these characters. You know what I mean? Like, I can't invest myself into anybody that I have no idea about. Yeah, this guy's a good wrestler. I like his in-ring ability. That's really what we end up seeing. People are just going with the guys they think are the best in the ring. Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, whoever it might be, just because we don't know anything about anybody.
Right.
You get invested into Daniel Bryan's story because, the whole authority storyline. But other than that, we're looking at guys that we like in ring. When you go back in the day, it was not like that. We're talking about guys like Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior that were absolutely terrible workers in the ring.
Yeah.
Sorry, brother. But, it is what it is. And even in the Attitude Era, The Rock was not, the best wrestler. Austin was a much better in-ring technician than he gets credit for just because he went to a specific style when he switched to the Stone Cold character. But if we're talking about the best wrestlers, I don't remember Eddie Guerrero ever being top guy in the late 90s. So I don't know. They want to push certain guys like Roman Reigns, and what they need to do for that to be successful is to have more character development. You don't need to just get him on the mic and say something in a deep voice, I'm going to make it rain in this bitch. Have him do what he did. Remember the segment he did with Vicky Guerrero where she puked? No, that was Stephanie that puked. But he put the shit in the coffee or whatever when Vicky was there, and fucking Vicky gave it to Stephanie. She ended up puking, right? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah.
Roman Reigns had to do with that fucking Vicky Guerrero and Stephanie McMahon storyline, and then all of a sudden, poof! Like, that was me starting to get behind Roman Reigns. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is funny. You know, he's screwing over the authorities, going to make Stephanie, you know, have the shits, whatever. And then suddenly we never hear or see him, you know, developed any further.
Right.
Meanwhile, the guy still has the same Kids Bop theme, Kids Bop version of the Shield theme song.
Talk about that. Just
it seems like every episode I go into a rant like this.
No,
where I have to mention that the Shield's theme song has been Kids Bopped down for Roman Reigns. Like, it sounds like a child recreated it. If you're listening, Jim Johnson or CFOs, whoever did that, get him a damn new theme song, would you please? Anyways, it's time for us to move forward here. We're going to make our NXT TakeOver R Evolution predictions. First off, would you call it Revolution or R Evolution? Because they're really calling it R Evolution. Anybody, that's open to anybody. Anybody except for Mitchell's bird in the back.
Whoops.
I find
talk when a bird's got to talk, man.
I have mixed feelings about it. It's so, I don't know. I don't like it. Like, or it's our evolution. Why didn't you just write our evolution? Like, why don't you just write the word out, or just call it NXT Revolution? Because that's what you're doing. You're revolutionizing the product down in.
Yeah, but don't you
NXT.
get it, Alec? It's our evolution.
Yeah,
it's the evolution of NXT.
Get with the program, man.
It's not a revolution. It's our evolution.
Evolution. Yeah.
I think they've evolutionized enough.
Adapt or perish. It's our evolution. All right. Anyways, first match we'll make a prediction on here. Not even a match. Let's just predict what Corey Graves is going to say.
It seems pretty obvious that he's going to announce his retirement. I think. I mean, the whole thing is he's had two concussions and he can't. You know, that's a supposed thing that he's had two concussions. He can't. You know, he can't get in the ring anymore because of that. Because they were, you know, mild or severe enough to cause that. Because he's been working production. So, you know, I think, you know, because it's, you know, a big thing. I think he's either, you know, he possibly could announce his retirement from in-ring activity, or he could say, "Oh, hey, guess what? I'm going to go back in the ring." I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be one of those two things. You know, either he's going to be there or he's not. I don't know, man. I don't feel like they'd make this big of a deal out of it if he wasn't coming back. You know what I mean? I feel like they just quietly let him go into the sunset or into production or whatever he's going to do. I was never a huge Corey Graves fan. A lot of people were like, "Oh God, this is the next CM Punk." You know, just because you have tattoos and slicked back hair does not mean, you know, you're the same person as somebody else. Corey Graves' gums/teeth just bother me. I don't know why, but it just I don't know why. It just takes the legitimacy away from me when he's cutting a promo.
You see that guy's teeth? I don't like him. He sucks. Fuck Corey Graves.
I really am the ultimate IWC like asshole like that complains about everything. You know, but it is what it is. But Mitchell, what do you think? Do you think Corey Graves is coming back, or you think he's done?
I don't see how two concussions is enough to like completely. God, Christian should have been done 3 times over by now. I mean, good God.
I wish he was.
Oh man, I knew it was coming.
But back on point here, I just don't see how if they were going to make a big deal. I mean, Corey Graves wasn't that huge in NXT anyway, so if he was retiring, then they just I think they just kind of let him ride off into the sunset. It was kind of announced like back in the day, like, okay, Corey Graves might be done. He's not big enough to like really do anything for if he's retiring. What did he do? Nothing. So if they are making a big deal out of it, then I got to say then he'll probably say, "Yo, I'm coming back," and because that's announcement worthy to me. Not, "Oh, Corey Graves is retiring." Okay. So
Exactly what the reaction would be, at least for me. Oh, Corey Graves is retiring. I'd be over here like, okay, like.
I think that's everybody's collective reaction. Like, oh, he's retired. No gives a shit. On to the next one.
Yeah, it's not like it's Sami Zayn. Like, Sami Zayn makes a big announcement, about his future. People would obviously be invested in that, but Corey Graves, I mean, sorry, bro.
You're just not that cool. I mean,
I think that's the best way to put it. He's just not that cool.
Mitchell Jones burying Corey Graves on the sharpshoot.
Hey,
Only
his
on the
last name is Graves, so why not?
he was destined for the grave.
He was.
Get the shovel.
Let's move on to the next little bit of our evolution here. Let's predict the Hideo Itami and Finn Balor versus the Ascension match. Everybody is widely believing that the Ascension loses this match and they ride off into the main roster. In which case, when that happens, I'll be nutting in my underwear. But
fair enough.
Either way, I've been really excited for the Ascension. I feel like there's been multiple times they could have already been brought up. The WWE Tag Team division is really begging for help, and these guys are exactly what they need. More specifically, exactly the heel tag team that the Usos need to also elevate themselves to the next level.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
We'll start with Mitchell on this one here. Mitchell, are you pretty much, in agreement that it's going to be a Tommy and Balor, a.k.a. Kenta, and your boy to win this one here?
Oh, yeah, hands down. Hands absolutely down. Yes, sir. They will win, and the Ascension will, as you said, ride off into the main roster, and I can't wait. I'm a big fan of the Ascension, so and I'm a big fan of the tag team division, or the lack thereof these days. So, yeah, when if it plays out like I'm hoping it will, then yeah, things will be a lot better. And Hideo Itami, I'm trying to pronounce it all together.
This man is from the South, ladies and gentlemen, trying to pronounce exotic names. It's just not going to happen, but it happened.
It's beyond my lexicon. Hideo Itami and Finn Balor, they need the win. They're together. I don't know if they're going to go together as a tag team, but if they are, either way you go, they need the win. They're the new superstars. The Ascension has had their fun in NXT. Now it's time for them to
go.
It's time for them to put over some talent and then go do big things up in the main roster.
Yeah. So, Alec. Oh, and if you can't see, if you don't understand why we're laughing on here, it's a little bit of an inside joke between myself and Alec off screen here as we write messages like little girls, really, that we are passing notes back and forth on the show. Really, though, Alec, as far as the Ascension goes, we know how you feel about them, so I'm just going to let you speak for yourself.
I think it's time for the Ascension to lose and get up to the main roster. I believe they have a vignette ready for the Ascension to go. I think they may have played it at SmackDown this week. I don't know if it'll actually make it on. I don't know if it'll make it onto the airing, but yeah, I think Itami and Balor will win, pick up the victory. Ascension will put them over, look nice and strong, and then maybe they'll cut one last promo on next week's NXT, and then get called up to the main roster. WWE start hyping them, and then they can make their debut. I don't know, but it's time for the Ascension to get the hell out of there and bring some legitimacy to the failing tag team division in the WWE.
Yeah, I think immediately these guys are going to be like jetpacked, as Austin would say, to the top of the tag team division, because really there's no other options. Half of our garbage gimmick award nominees this year are tag teams. And there's only 4 tag teams in the WWE, so you really can't. You know what I mean? Like, you can't afford to have half of your tag teams sucking ass. But either way, we move on. It's a clean sweep for the Ascension here, which leads us to another tag team match. Which, could you ever imagine right now on a WWE pay-per-view, 2 tag team matches, 2 legitimate tag team matches on a pay-per-view? God, let alone 2 legitimate tag team matches on a Raw. I mean, yeah, we get like 6 or 7, 8-man tag matches in a 3-hour Raw, but that's just because the creative team's like, let's just fucking throw everybody together. We'll only have to write half the shit. We've got the Lucha Dragons versus the Vaudvillains. And really, 2 more tag teams that could probably be on the main roster.
Should be on the main roster.
Yeah, Alec, who do you got here? The champions are obviously the Lucha Dragons. I would expect them to retain, but the Vaudvillains, they could, if they want to have Itami and Balor go after the titles, I could see the Vaudvillains taking the titles here, and being that heel team to work with Itami and Balor. Just not sure if it happens yet. So I personally would pick the Dragons.
Right, I have to agree with you. I would go with the Lucha Dragons just because they are popular with the crowd. They have merchandise out now. I don't know how well it sells, but they are popular with the crowd. They are a good tag team. I'm not really sold on the Vaudevillains as much as some other people are. I can't get into them. I mean, it's nothing against them and their talent. I can't find something to like about them. I don't know, but
yeah, I don't like them either, to be honest with you. But I mean, I respect them, and I recognize them as a legitimate tag team.
Right.
Probably better than Los Matadores and a few of the other tag teams up on the main roster. But I'm the same as you. I don't really care for them. But carry on.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to pick the Lucha Dragons in this one. I don't know if Itami and Balor will continue on as a tag team. As things go on. I know, Balor's kind of itching to get up on the main roster. I know that was kind of one of the things when he signed on was he didn't want to stay down in NXT too long because he's been around the world doing this. So I don't know, but I will take the Lucha Dragons in this one.
Yeah, Mitchell, who do you got, man?
I don't really care either way. I'm not a fan of
Mitchell, not necessarily the biggest NXT guy out there.
He took the show.
No. Don't get me wrong. I love NXT with a passion. I don't know. I just can't get with either team. I kind of like the Vaudevillains a little, but as far as me getting invested into a match for titles, don't really matter, but I'll pick, for pick's sake, I'll go with the Lucha Dragons retaining.
All right, I dig it. And same deal with the Vaudevillains. I think it's just Aiden English. I don't know why. When he's very successful at making people dislike him. I don't know if it's because the dude's just flat out ugly, because he sucks at singing, because his chest hair's weird. I'm not sure what it is. But
dating Eddie Guerrero's daughter.
Dating Eddie Guerrero's daughter, who was future endeavored.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's not with them anymore. But yeah, so it looks like the Dragons are going to take a clean sweep here, and obviously we're always interested to know what you guys think as far as your picks. So if you're watching live here, you can let us know on YouTube. We'll get your word out. And we'll move on to the next match here. We're talking Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. Now, there's probably going to be a couple throw-in matches in between here and there that we don't know about. We're going to cover the main matches. I would expect Bold Dempsey or whatever, an appearance from him. I don't know if I have the full updated card here, so if I'm missing a match, guys, let me know. But the only confirmed matches I have, other than what we've talked about, is the Women's Championship and the NXT Championship. So I don't know if Baron Corbin's supposed to be on there or if Bull Dempsey's supposed to be on there.
They did tease something on NXT this past week.
Say that again?
They did tease something on NXT last week. It was basically with Dempsey and Corbin. They had basically 2 squash matches back to back, and who could hit their finisher the fastest and fucking win. It was stupid. And then they had like a fucking stare down. It was like, you know, I don't want to watch Bull Dempsey the fucking baby. I really don't. He's just a giant baby. Fucking dude, change your fucking unitard, whatever the hell you're wearing. Goddamn spandex. Oh my god.
He looks like mini King Kong Bundy.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, King Kong Bundy. But so maybe we see a match between those two, but we won't call it out here because Alec, you know, clearly frustrated.
Me too,
so we'll
man.
move on to the Women's Championship match. I like Baron Corbin, by the way.
Yes,
I dig him.
Yeah,
he's cool.
cool.
Yeah, they're capitalizing on the Sons of Anarchy style, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got a great entrance and a great theme.
Yeah.
As Alec would say, Bull Dempsey can piss up a rope.
Yeah, he can piss up a rope. Yeah.
All right, so we'll talk about the Women's Championship match: Charlotte versus Sasha. Can't fucking get my words out straight here. But Mitchell, why don't you go ahead and give us who you got for that one?
I'm gonna say with that utterly disappointing loss on Raw to Natalya via roll-up pin, I'm gonna go with Charlotte retaining because if they hope to keep any credibility with her, then they won't let her lose tonight. And no. So Charlotte, and honestly, I don't think Sasha has really done anything to get that notch on her belt. So, nah, Charlotte.
Okay, Alec, what do you think?
Yeah, pretty much what Mitchell said, and you know what you said earlier tonight. That loss on Raw really hurt her. So you know, if she loses tonight, it's just gonna make her look bad. So I'm gonna have to pick Charlotte in this match. She really needs this win. You know, maybe we see Bayley show up somehow, cause an interference. Becky Lynch shows up and causes, you know, a distraction. Whatever, that'll add to the match. That'll add to the element of the match. But you know, when it's all said and done, Charlotte needs she needs this win, especially if they're not going to call her up anytime soon. You know, she needs the win.
With you guys, and it seems like we're, you know, going to do the same route we always do here. You know, we're taking the same people for everything, which is cool. If Matt were here, he'd probably be picking somebody else just to pick somebody else, and then he'd probably
be bashing the show and trying to promote Before the Bell.
Yeah, which Before the Bell, I mean, it's almost like a show that we're not even going to mention on the Sharpshoot because it's like, you know, it's like
his internet wouldn't let him anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, the Before the Bell show is not something that even really can hold a candle to the Sharpshoot. I mean, I hate to say it like that because we're all part of RopeBreakWrestling.com. Obviously, you know, I look for the success of Matt's show Before the Bell. But, you know, let's just face facts, guys. Am I bullshitting you when I tell you that his show just doesn't cut the mustard?
He doesn't have an awesome graphic.
Well, that's for goddamn sure. You can't even see his face. Not that anybody would want to. If you smell...
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
What's
so
happening?
I'm sure Matt will have something to say on Before the Bell, but don't worry, nobody will hear it.
Oh.
Brutal.
Oh, man.
So let's continue with the predictions here. And we'll move right to the championship match. And immediately after we call this championship match here, which we'll probably... this one we might have differing opinions on. But right after that, we're getting into the number one reason why everybody's watching this show. The tens and tens of viewers that we have here are tuning in to find out the Golden Rope Awards and Nominees. The Golden Rope Awards are going down December 21st, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 1 week after TLC, and it's only going to be on RopeBreakWrestling.com, and I've got huge news regarding the Golden Ropes Awards show that I don't believe Mitchell even knows yet, unless somebody spilled the beans to him. But Alec, he's in on the knowledge here. But let's call the championship match before we get into that. We're talking Adrian Neville versus Sami Zayn. If Zayn loses, he leaves NXT. What do you see going down? Because personally, I'm torn here. The fact that they threw the if Zayn loses, he leaves NXT deal in there makes me wonder, if he loses, he's getting called up, basically.
Right.
They did the same thing with Bo Dallas, pretty much. But if he wins, what does that mean for Adrian Neville? Maybe Adrian Neville would be on the way up. I don't think that Neville is nearly at the level, not to rhyme, but I am a part-time rapper. I don't think that Neville is at the level of Sami Zayn yet as far as being a character goes. In the ring, yes, definitely. As far as being a character, not quite. I don't know. I'll be like Vince. I don't know if it's because he's Swiss. I don't know if it's because he's fucking whatever, whatever nationality he is. I don't know if it's because he's elf. But I love Adrian Neville. But who do you got winning here, Alec?
Oh man, there's so many scenarios running through my head right now about this match. It's so hard to pinpoint a victor because anything could happen in this match. There is a stipulation that if Zayn loses, he leaves NXT, which means his call-up is happening. I don't know if they've filmed vignettes for him yet or there's hype videos. I don't know. Personally, I think Zayn wins. I think it's time. Neville's had the title for a while. He's kind of been involved, with the same guys doing the same thing for a while now. I think Zayn, just needs to win. Especially if, they want to keep him around and, finally give him that big boost, this whole redemption storyline. I think, Zayn picks up the win here, maybe not, under his own power. Maybe we finally see, we see Kevin Owens' debut, help him out in some way. I don't know, but I'm going to have to go with Sami Zayn here.
Kevin Owens, everybody's obviously waiting for that. That's going to be a big deal. We're talking about whether or not, he's going to feud with a guy like Zayn or a guy like Neville. I think that if Zayn were to win, that would be best for both Zayn and Owens. I know that might sound weird saying that, hey, if Sami Zayn stays in NXT, that's going to be great for him. No, I think that if Sami Zayn stays in NXT, we could see a Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens feud that could be off the charts and probably a prequel to what might happen when they get to the main roster. Remains to be seen. We'll see. Mitchell, who you got winning this match? Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, and if Zayn's got to leave, do you think he's getting called up?
I am extremely torn on this one, just as you guys. I'm fine either way because, like you said, if Zayn wins and stays, then we have the potential Zayn and Owens feud. Which, if anybody's seen ROH, El Generico, and Kevin Steen, in for a show. But if he loses and he gets called up, I'm perfectly fine with that. So either way, I'm not. You know what? I'm not gonna pick one. Because I'm fine either way. So no, I'm not picking one.
Well, damn. Well, sweet cream on an ice cream sandwich. Only Mitchell Jones can get away with that on this type of show because if it was Matt Donato, I'd kick his ass off the show. But Mitchell Jones, with that southern draw, I can't really, do much about it. he's basically what he's saying is he's just in it for the match itself. The match is going to kick ass. And if Owens or Steen, whatever you prefer, debuts during that match, and we see some kind of angle there, that's going to be some really exciting shit either way. And we're at the end of it all, we're winning. But for the sake of picking, I will play devil's advocate only because Alec picked Sami Zayn to win, right, Alec? You picked Sami Zayn to win?
Yeah.
So I'll pick Adrian Neville to win just based on the fact that we're all torn. That way we've got a couple different predictions here. That way one of the two of us can come out on top here in the predictions. But now really everybody's winning because it's time for us to talk about the Golden Ropes award show. And this is a big deal. I got to readjust myself in my chair for this. If you happen to be watching live, first off, thank you for sticking with us this long. If you enjoyed the show, let your friends know. It's the Sharpshoot with Aussie. It happens every single Thursday evening from 5 to 6. We're going into overtime as usual here. We usually do that. Every single Thursday night we do this live. We interact with you, the fans. And if you have any suggestions or comments, questions, concerns about the show, you can follow us on Twitter at Rope Break Wrestling. It's below, and let us know. If you think this show kicks way more ass than Before the Bell, tweet us at Rope Break Wrestling. Either way, anything any comments, questions, suggestions about the site, anything, let us know. If you're like, site, what the hell are you talking about? It's ropebreakwrestling.com, and if you don't like us on Facebook, get to that as well. But most importantly, please, if you do nothing else, if you don't like us, follow us, go on our website, please subscribe to our YouTube page. The reason being is because the Sunday following TLC, we are going to be releasing our end of the year award show titled The Golden Ropes. It's sponsored by ProWrestlingTees.com, so that's a big deal. Right off the rip, we're talking ProWrestlingTees.com. They have a shit ton of amazing merchandise on their website, ProWrestlingTees.com. They've got CM Punk shirts. If you're one of those assholes that's like, nah, I don't like CM Punk, he's a liar. Then they've got plenty of Macho Man Randy Savage, officially licensed merchandise, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mick Foley, Razor Ramon. Anybody you can think of, they've got it. All the WWE legends, and even some of the other podcasts that are out there that might not be quite as good as the Sharpshoot, but hey, we respect and support all of our brethren out there that like doing what we do here for you guys. But now, without any more plugging, let's get right into it. We're talking the Golden Ropes, and we're talking about all the awards and the nominees. And right now on RopeBreakWrestling.com, I have just officially posted the link to vote on every single award. So as you listen to me reveal the awards and the nominees, you'll be able to sign on to RopeBreakWrestling.com and vote for each award. We're not going to post the link on Facebook or Twitter just yet until after the show is over. That way those of you that have watched the show and endured the whole thing with us have the opportunity to get in and to vote first before the surfer breaks, because this shit's going to be bigger than the Slammies. And definitely more legitimate than the Slammies. I mean, that's an understatement and a half. But let's get right into it. First off, obviously, one award that we have to give away, one award that we said we were going to give away from the get-go, and the nominees leaked on our Facebook page last night. We're talking about the Superstar of the Year award. And the Superstar of the Year award is obviously a big deal. Many people might say, hey, how come it's only WWE guys? We're exclusively a WWE site at Rope Break Wrestling. So sorry to those that like TNA, like Ring of Honor, like New Japan, like Lucha Underground. Hey, we like those promotions too. We just don't cover them. We like to just watch those. That's kind of like our break. We cover the big leagues. We cover the WWE. So this is a WWE award show. Superstar of the Year. We've got Seth Rollins, Mr. Money in the Bank. We got Brock Lesnar, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and the ender of the streak, the 1-21-1. We've got Randy Orton, who was, for a majority of time, or not a majority of time, but was for a great deal of time, the leader of the Authority faction, as far as in-ring talent goes. Then we've got Dean Ambrose, the Lunatic Fringe, and Daniel Bryan. Now, a lot of people are going to say, where is John Cena? He didn't make the cut. Sorry. Where's Roman Reigns? He didn't make the cut. Sorry. That's just how it is. Those are the options that you have. You can vote right on the site right now, ropebreakwrestling.com. Go for the Golden Ropes voting link. And let me get this up here for you, and I can show you guys what I'm looking at here. Because you're like, I'm sick of fucking listening to this guy talk. All he's saying is, kick. Here we go. We're on ropebreakwrestling.com, and immediately you're like, whoa, this site's kicking ass. It's not that plain bullshit with a bunch of ads everywhere like I'm used to as a wrestling fan. So being that we're doing the show right now, my internet's going to be slow as shit. But here we go, right on the main page. Vote for the Golden Ropes Award Show. We're going to click on that link there, and it's going to bring me back right where I was. So we've got Superstar of the Year, and we're going to go into the next award of the year. We're going to talk about Match of the Year. We've got Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus Batista at WrestleMania 30 for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. We've got Evolution versus The Shield at Extreme Rules. We've got Charlotte versus Natalya at NXT TakeOver. Holy shit, break the internet. They've got a Divas match on there, and it's not even from the main roster. That's a big deal. We've got Team Cena versus Team Authority at Survivor Series. And we've got Rollins versus Ambrose on Raw the night after SummerSlam. The night when Dean Ambrose ate concrete bricks. We've also got Diva of the Year. AJ Lee, Paige, Stephanie McMahon, Nikki Bella, and Charlotte. Another NXT talent on a main roster award? My goodness. We're also including Stephanie McMahon in there because technically she did get in the ring for one fight. And honestly, she has to be up for this award. It really should be called the Woman of the Year award. And, my vote is probably going to go that way if you guys know anything about me. We got Holy Shit Moment of the Year. I can guarantee you didn't find that one on WWE's Slammy Awards. Those nominees are going to be Rock, Hogan, and Austin sharing a Steve Weiser at WrestleMania 30. You've got The Rock returns to confront Rusev, hashtag Moscow Moose Knuckle. You've got Rollins' leap of faith at Extreme Rules when he jumps from the stands. You've got, by God, it's Sting. Sting's debut in the WWE at Survivor Series. And you've got Daniel Bryan with the Chris Benoit, I said it, flying headbutt off the pallet jack at Extreme Rules. Swerve of the Year. Seth Rollins turns on the Shield. Nikki Bella turns on Brie Bella. Cesaro turns on the Real Americans. CM Punk, I said it, quits. Big Show turns on Team Cena for his record-breaking 700th face/heel turn in the same year. Pop of the Year. This award we give out to the city that creates the biggest pop, not necessarily the superstar that creates the biggest pop. So St. Louis is nominated for their pop when Dolph Ziggler defeated the Authority at Survivor Series. Brooklyn for their pop when The Rock returned to face Rusev. New Orleans for their pop when Daniel Bryan won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Nashville, close to home for our man Mitchell Jones when Dean Ambrose returned at Night of Champions. Remember that yellow cab Dean Ambrose gets out? New Orleans, double nominee, WrestleMania City. They also hosted the pop for Hogan, Rock, Austin, their in-ring Mount Rushmore event. And honestly, I'm not sure how Aussie's Apartment wasn't nominated for Biggest Pop of the Year for that moment. Because let me tell you, my apartment, the roof blew off when Rock, Austin, and Hogan were all out in the ring there at the same time.
Yeah.
Got the promo of the year. Man, this is exciting shit. There's just different awards on here that you don't get on Slammies. And there's no hidden agenda here. Look at these. All these nominees have their own bubble. They're not actually merged together. So, like, if you click one, let's say we're going to vote Dolph Ziggler for promo of the year. Look at that. It clicks in, only clicks into one bubble. It doesn't click into, like, fucking a hidden Roman Reigns bubble anywhere. So that's exciting shit. Promo of the year, we've got Dolph Ziggler on the WWE app June 23rd. We've got Randy Orton on Raw when he went off on the Authority and Seth Rollins. That was October 27th edition of Raw. You've got Dean Ambrose the week after Seth Rollins basically beat the shit out of him with a chair. Him addressing Seth Rollins on Raw June 9th. You've got Paul Heyman the night after WrestleMania, basically making everybody furious with his reminder that we told you so! We told you so! Fucking love that promo personally. We've got the Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt face-to-face on Raw. That was August 11th. So we've got some really good promos up there for the promo of the year. Then we come to probably the most important award, probably the biggest crossover award. We're going to have the most people coming from other sites and other pages and stuff like that just to vote on this particular award. Because everybody's got to get their comment in on the Rope Break Wrestling Podcast of the Year. Up for grabs, React After Raw. That's hosted by the man down there with the big old beard. That's Alec Kozubski's show. Good luck, Alec. I'll play fair with you. I would say that you definitely deserve a fair shake at that award. Now, the issue that I have is the third nominee down before the bell. That shouldn't even be a nominee, honestly. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. We've got Alec's show, React After Run. Once in a while, every Go Home edition, I make an appearance on that show, which, basically, Alec, I'm not trying to bury it here, but it definitely makes it a little bit more appealing when you got the great one coming on to your show. And before the bell, I've yet to hear an episode with Aussie on, and honestly, I just think the show's mediocre at best. Rope Break Radio, though, however, the original audio cast on RopeBreakWrestling.com, that shit's the stuff of legend right there.
Swerve, that's gonna win.
Huh?
Swerve, that one's gonna win.
Swerve, that one's gonna win. I wouldn't be too surprised. And then you've got this show, The Sharpshoot with Aussie. So if you dig this show, make sure you get on the website and vote. While I'm here, I'm just going to put in a vote for myself. Why wouldn't I? Look at that. I'm winning with 6 votes already, jabronis. And what do you know? Matt's show has no votes. Look at that. We've got people voting all over the globe already. The servers can barely handle all 6 people. Since we've come in. You've got the NXT Superstar of the Year, Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville. Another female? Charlotte. Tyler Breeze. Another female? No, just kidding. Tyson Kidd. Tag Team of the Year, the Usos, Stardust and Goldust, the Real Americans, the Wyatts, Eric and Rowan, and NXT Tag Team, the Ascension, who we could not leave off that list, plain and simple. Pay-Per-View of the Year, WrestleMania 30, and usually we'd say WrestleMania is going to win that 9 times out of 10, but this year we had some really good pay-per-views to compete with it. So Survivor Series, obviously, we saw some people overreacting to Sting's debut, saying, this was the best pay-per-view ever! I don't know that I would go that far. You got Extreme Rules, which was an excellent pay-per-view. Money in the Bank was great, and SummerSlam had like 20 main events according to Triple H, so that had to make the list as well. Another award that you won't find on any other site is the Future Endeavor of the Year. This is ruthless, guys. I kind of feel bad about giving out this award. Like, do we contact the winner of this award and let them know that they won, or like, do we just pretend like? Okay. We got Justin Roberts, Josh Matthews, Teddy Long, Great Khali, and JTG are up for this award. Faction of the Year, you've got the Shield, the Wyatt family, Evolution, the BFFs from NXT. That was a pretty solid nominee there. I feel like a wrestling hipster myself, just including them in there. Like, I was with the BFFs before they were even cool.
Oh, Jesus.
And then you've got the Authority. who threatened us by saying if we didn't rig the voting for them to win, they would make a copyright claim on our next video. So the sharpshoot might be down immediately after it airs here because WWE is scared of the sharpshoot, which rightfully so. I don't blame them. Then we've got garbage gimmick of the year, Fandango, two-time nominee in that in that category. Los Matadores, two-time nominee in that category. Slater Gator, Heath Slater, accepting his second nomination in that category. He was also nominated last year with the 3MB, or the 3MB. You've got the Bunny, who should win this award by a landslide. And then
That's my vote.
And then you've got Adam Rose. Biggest burial. Now, this award might get some fans pissed off. They're like, Cesaro's not buried yet. He just hasn't been pushed. IWC Smarks. Well, anyways, we got Cesaro, Biggie Langston, Fandango, which Fandango, I don't know if he necessarily belongs on there. He never really came out of, like, the ground. He was never really birthed to be buried, you know what I mean?
Oh, man. Fucking Fandango.
Got, in a swerve, the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship.
That's my vote right there.
Are both up for
US
burial of the
Championship.
year. That's crazy. I would say that just being around Sheamus's waist automatically wins this award for the United States Championship. That remains to be seen. Ferocious Finisher Award. Seth Rollins' curb stomp, Randy Orton's RKO, Bray Wyatt's Sister Abigail, Brock Lesnar's F5, and another NXT talent, Adrian Neville's Red Arrow. Will we see that Red Arrow end the NXT career of Sami Zayn tonight? That remains to be seen. Return of the year, we've got Chris Jericho, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and Batista. And then finally, we've got the main roster Rookie of the Year. The nominees for that award are Paige, Rusev, Xavier Woods, Bo Dallas, and Rusev's manager, Lana. Now, the voting for one last award, the Botch of the Year, will begin this Monday night after React After Raw. Remember, that's Alex's show that airs every single Monday night immediately following Monday Night Raw. And that's pretty sweet because if you noted on there, Matthew Gregg, the Botchamania guy, will be selecting the nominees for that category himself, and he will also be on hand at the show to present the award to the winner of Botch of the Year. That's pretty sweet, and immediately you're saying that's pretty cool. Botchamania guy's going to be there. Well, guess what else? We've got some more stars lined up for you. Not only do we have the Botchamania guy, and not only is this event sponsored by Pro Wrestling Tees, we've also got Jason Salomon, the Salamonster. We've got Justin LeBar, and we've also got Joe Cronin from Joe Cronin Show. Those guys and many more will be presenting awards at the Golden Ropes Award Show. We are not messing around. If you want beef, then bring the ruckus. Rope Break Wrestling ain't nothing to fuck with. And those were Wu-Tang Clan lyrics. If you want to post them on your Facebook and not get in trouble by your parents, you can always say, it's just lyrics. If you don't subscribe to this to our YouTube page already, you've got to do that. That way you do not miss this mega event that will be the Golden Rope Award Show. It'll be up there. I'm hoping to get a trailer/commercial for it out in the coming days here. We're in talks with more talents to get them on the show right now. So if you want to see any of your favorite YouTube personalities or wrestling personalities, former wrestlers, whatever, on the Golden Ropes giving out an award, tweet them. Tag us. Say, listen, at Grimm's Toy Show, we want to hear you give out an award at the Golden Ropes, and then tag Rope Break Wrestling. There's plenty of other people that we're interested in having on the show to give out an award. If you're a random ass jabroni that's just watching at home, itching your stomach, eating Cheetos, we probably don't want you to give out an award, so try not to email us on Facebook asking if you can give out an award. Jose Paulino, I'm looking at you, brother.
Oh no. Oh no.
But
Oh no.
anyways,
Buried.
if you guys have any issues with any of those nominees, I don't give a shit. Alec doesn't give a shit. Mitchell doesn't give a shit. Matt might give a shit, but who gives a shit about what he gives a shit about?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Those are the nominees. They're set in stone. You jabronis can vote right now. RopeBreakWrestling.com. It's a revolution.
Buried.
If you ain't with it, get with it right now. Tell your friends about it. As Matt would say, I hate to quote the jabroni, but he does have one thing right when he says, if you're not telling your friends about RopeBreakWrestling.com, about React After Raw, about the Sharpshoot, about Before the Bell, about any of those, about the Golden Ropes, you are a terrible friend. Let everybody on your Facebook know, even if they don't give a shit about wrestling, they've picked on you for years for liking wrestling. It's time you flood their news feed with Rope Break Wrestling shit. So share it. Go on Twitter. Retweet the shit. Please retweet. A lot of people favorite. That's cool. We dig it. I appreciate it. But retweets do a lot more for us than favorites do because it lets all of your followers see what we're saying. So definitely go out, retweet, do whatever you got to do. This has been the Sharpshoot, and I want to personally thank Mitchell Jones, staff writer on RopeBreakWrestling.com, and Alec Kozubski, co-founder, co-owner, and chief editor, head honcho, RopeBreakWrestling.com. Guys, thank you for joining the show.
Yes, sir. Enjoyed it.
It's been a pleasure as always, man.
All right, guys. For the Sharpshoot, I am Aussie. We'll catch you next week. In the meantime, let every mother effer you come across on the street know about the Golden Ropes, December 21st, 7 p.m. Eastern, RopeBreakWrestling.com on this YouTube page. So go subscribe right now. Until next Thursday, I'm Aussie. If you smell what the Auss is cooking.